I wanted to do part 2 of my Why I Homeschool video, and this is much more of a kind of deeper insight, I guess, into what we went through when we made the change and how our homeschooling actually looks, because I think a lot of people have this idea that to be a homeschooling mom you have to completely stay at home and dedicate your life to the children and teach and have books and understand curriculum and become the all singing, all dancing, everything. And in our situation that was like 100% not possible. I run 3 small businesses and my husband is an entrepreneur as well, so we had to find a design that worked for us. And I think literally that is what I talk about when I talk about schooling in a different way. I had lots of DMs around my small reel on what I think around homeschooling, and people have their own insights into how they want their children to be schooled, and that's the most important thing. International schooling, world schooling, unschooling, different programs, different types of schools, forest schools, Waldorf schools, I don't know, programs that are run through schools that suit you and feel a little bit different. So it doesn't have to be that everyone gives up their day job and pulls their kids out of school and starts doing all the things that that somehow people in their mind have matched to homeschooling. It's about giving your children the tools and the information and the education that you feel they need. And for us, that looks very different to how it'll look for you or the next person. But we rely on the community and we rely on different networks to support us as well. So when we first started homeschooling, we relied on a beautiful heart-based education agency in London, agency's actually completely the wrong word, but they came in, they assessed our children. It was a long assessment, 5 or 6 hours. And by assess, I don't mean put them in a black room with an exam timer and made them write down everything they've learned. What I actually mean is this person came into our home and watched my children play, engaged in a game of chess with them, talked to them about their loves, their dislikes, engaged their emotional stability, their emotional grounding, how able were they to make decisions, stood back from afar and watched them fight it out over a toy, watched them play Monopoly, helped them to cook when we made some snacks. It was an assessment like I feel all assessments should be. How grounded is this child in this world, and how able are they to be resilient and strategic and forward thinking, and how can they make decisions based on what they currently know and feel, and how emotionally sound they are in their life. And it turned out for us that we have 2 really emotionally sound children, which I was very proud of, because I feel that the emotional intelligence and groundedness of a child is the marker of success. That is my opinion, because I feel like you can have extremely academic, extremely clever by the book children, but without emotional resilience. Will you have a successful marriage or partnership? Will you be able to run your own business? Because you might not be able to manage people and all these important things that matter when it comes to empire creating or building of greater things than just having a well-paid job. And I talk a little bit about that in some of the comments on my homeschooling reel. And that's what it is all about for me. It really is all about being able to create an individual who knows they can do anything, not an individual who's churned out of the system and knows that they can apply for a job, say all the right things, do all the right things, and get that top job in inverted commas, and then live their entire life hiding, medicating, drinking, trying to run away from the pain they feel because potentially they are not fulfilled. And you see this in so many adults today. Like, I spent my whole life studying to be a doctor, and all I ever wanted to do was X, or an accountant, and my real calling was Y. And back in the day, yes, we were told that if you don't have a degree or you don't do this, that, and the next thing, that you'll never make it. Well, what about the likes of Richard Branson, who anyone would say is a measure of success and has achieved massive success, broken boundaries and done things totally differently? He speaks so openly about his school experiences. he was unable to hold it down. In fact, I was reminded a lot of my son when he said, like, sitting at the desk was like torture. And in those days, it was more difficult to hear that child's call and to listen and be like, this is not right for you. So he achieved all of what he did in the face of all of that. What if he as a child had been nurtured into like all that wildness and weirdness and out of the boxness that he contained? So it isn't about preparing your child to fit in. It is about encouraging your child to stand out. With that said, our homeschooling is morphing with each year. We now are a part of a beautiful international homeschool community here in Dubai, and I just wonder why there are not more of these going on. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me to set up something like's happening here in Dubai where they live, then please do, and I'll put you in touch with the most fantastic two women who run this community called Cascade here in Dubai. And it is a group of homeschooling parents. Every time I go to a coffee morning, I'm just like, these are my people. And how many times do we hang out at school events and functions, and it just feels very connected there, and everyone wants to do things in the same way. However, we are drawing on the things that do work when children come together in a group, the things that do work when children get to see each other every day and play, the things that do work when children learn in group situations and take on projects together. So effectively, school is the wrong word for what they're doing, but it is a group of like-minded children who are playing, expanding, exploring together, and there is real power in that. So we had two children at home doing school from 8 until 11 every morning with a tutor, and because we'd had them assessed and because we knew the temperament and their relationship between one to another, we knew that they could be taught together. Where the one was weak, the other fared quite well, and when the other needed real grounding and space, the other was strong. So it was a complementary, really symbiotic relationship. But we did realize that after 2 years, they were leaning heavily on their afternoon activities. They did swimming, tennis, they did guitar, they did a few other things, martial arts, that was about it, and pottery. And that was enough, but they leaned on that to be able to meet like-minded children and have friends, etc., etc. So the beauty of what we have now is like a mini little community, and how I imagine school looked back in the day, where everyone in your village who thought the same and who had the same ideologies and the same feelings about the way things should be, because you were in a tribe, they came together to learn. And so it doesn't have to look like you quitting your job and suddenly just like giving it all up for the kids. And there are some people doing beautiful work in that space. But homeschooling, unschooling is about constantly reassuring yourself as a parent that you know what is right for your children. It is hard. It is hard every day to go against the grain and be like, when you look around and you don't see others like you, it's difficult. And unfortunately, humans are designed to go with the flow. And there's a lemming-like quality in human beings, and it can be used for negative or positive. But in certain situations, when you are the one lemming going the opposite way, and in your opinion all the other lemmings are going off the end of the cliff, or you are trying something different no matter where the end destination is, because who cares, we all are on our own path. There is no such thing as what I'm doing is better than you, or what you are doing is better than me. It does not exist, because I'm the mother chosen for my children, and you are the mother, parent, father chosen for your children. And that is what I'm trying to get across when I talk about this. It's about if there is a niggling feeling or a funny feeling, or your child is labeled at school or bullied, or your child is not fitting in, your child's academics is struggling, because children struggle, that's how they learn. But you're being made to feel bad about it, and they're being made to feel bad about it. These are just the little things that I would say are signs that maybe something needs to change. And does that mean you need to whip your kids out of the system like we did and completely change it up? Maybe not for you. But what I do want to say is, if you can connect with your child, connect with their learning, and connect with your gut feeling around the situation that they are in at the moment, you could save them lifetimes of pain and lifetimes of conditioning by maybe just making one small change. And that could be simply shifting the school they're in talking to the teacher, asking for some version of a change, letting them do classes around manifestation, or joining our kind of kids circle around re-believing and reconnecting to yourself. Maybe that's it. Maybe they completely stay where they are, but they come and join us to learn more about how great and how wonderful and how powerful they are. Because it's these small little changes that is what I'm talking about. I'm not imploring people to follow at all, because that would be a disaster. That is how we are at the moment. It's like, everyone's doing this, let's do it. No, I'm saying, like, go into my mini minds, do the body scan, get connected to yourself, get your child connected to themselves, and then do things that make you happy, that make them happy. First and foremost as individuals, secondly as a family. And when you are in alignment, and when everyone in the family is happy, and when people are full of belief in themselves and abundance, and they feel joy and they feel built up by what they do day to day. Because remember, the school journey is something like 40,000, I didn't even know, I'm not going to even quote the number. It is a hell of a lot of time in your life. And I just think at 18 to come out of that and then have to start paying a therapist to decondition, uncondition, move past your bullying, move past your sense of no self-worth, disaster. So make a small change today. And if you do nothing and change is not what's calling you, then just connect more deeply to yourself and to your child. Ask questions, become curious. And that for now, for me, would be more than enough.